What is up, guys? So it's Darkside Day. I think I'm going to do this once a week, every Sunday. Just talk about the dark side of YouTube. Have a little roundup, what's been happening, who's been saying what, who's a bacon, who's grassed on who. Just bring a bit of normality to this ridiculous world of Darkside content creating. So yeah, that's what I'm going to do once a week. Just have a laugh with it. Before I start, there's a mention button on YouTube. I've just discovered it. I'm rubbish with all this computer stuff. You know, when everybody else was learning about computers, I was smoking crack at a doorway. So a lot of this stuff is new to me, and I've just found a mention button. When you press it, it shows you all the people that have mentioned you in videos, and there's tons of people that have mentioned me, and I've just not seen it. So, you know, if you've done a video and you've tagged me or mentioned me, and I've not gone back to you, I'm not ignoring you, I've just not seen it. You know, I saw loads of different ones, and I've even seen like smaller channels like taking a piss, which I've got no problem with that. Whatever you've got to do to get your foot in the door, you know, to get a leg up, if you want to use my videos and take the piss, that's completely fine. Yeah, it's a good way to get a few subscribers and a few views. So yeah, but anyway, what's been happening? Well, Brian Cockrell has had his house done again. They're playing with fire there, literally playing with fire. It's a dangerous game, and I'm not talking about repercussions, I'm talking about like fire. I've learned over the years you don't mess with fire. So many times I've been in prison and somebody's come in and I say, well, what are you in for? Murder. Really? Who did you murder? Well, petrol bombed someone's house or petrol bombed someone's car, and the whole house has gone up and people have died. I remember one guy came in, petrol bombed his girlfriend's car she had a mother in it, and he ended up killing his padmate, because back then there was a rumour that if your padmate killed himself while you was in the cell, there's a good chance you can get bail. So this genius killed his padmate, strung him up, and made it look like he'd hung himself, but you know, it was obvious he'd killed him. He got caught straight away. He ended up getting a not guilty on the firebombing and got life for killing his padmate. So, yeah, it's a dangerous game. You don't play with fire. But I've not really got any sympathy for Brian, because, you know, he spent his whole life kicking people's doors off. You know, going in, taxing people, robbing people, beating them up, taking all the money. So now he's getting taxed, and like I say, I've got no sympathy. And all the usual weirdos, oh, they're all cowards. They're cowards, they wouldn't do that back in the day. Well, no, they wouldn't do it back in the day, but we're not back in the day. And just remember, this guy is a horrible bully. You know, he glorifies his past, thinking it's good, thinking it makes him look good. He glorifies, and this is his own words, getting people, going in people's house and cutting the toes off with pliers and bolt croppers, lopping people's toes off if they don't give him the money. Why would you want to boast about that? That's a horrible scumbag thing to do. But anyway, yeah, the people say he even glorifies like ripping people off. He did a video. That's the difference between me and him as men. You know, I'm very ashamed and embarrassed about my past, but he seems to like glorify it. And he was talking about, he did a video ripping off someone, sold him a bag of sugar for 20 grand, and he's making a video laughing, thinking, that's not funny. I mean, just think about that. Somebody gets ripped off for 20 grand, somebody's got to pay that debt, somebody's got to stand that 20 grand. So how many people have been beat up? Someone's probably going to get beat up, they're probably going to have to work it all off, and he's out there glorifying it. So I've got no sympathy for the man. The tax man has become the taxed. And people say, oh, well, what about Emma? Well, you know what? I do feel for Emma, but I don't really watch her that much. But, you know, whenever I see her name come up, she's always talking shit about someone. She's always calling people names or calling people wrong uns. And she does it in code. See, I don't even know what she's on about anyway. She'll say, oh, yeah, the one from Carlisle got the Riddler, and Pizza Face came, and the one from Ginger. It's like, what are you on about? I never know what she's on about. And so yeah, I don't really feel that sorry for her. She's just as bad as Brian, other than she don't beat people up and chop the toes off. And I've seen a video. I think I've figured out who Pizza Face is. I've seen a video on Ebenezer Greensplat's channel, which is a pretty good channel. He kind of does what I do, but he doesn't show his face though. He holds people accountable for the behaviour, and shows people, you know, this is what they're really like. And he don't make stuff up. He just uses what's already out there. He uses their own behaviour against them. And there was a video came up with this Pizza Face guy. Apparently he's just got 5 years in prison. And on the video, there's a guy called Motorsport Buggies, I believe he's called. This big fat dude. He looks like a sloth from the Goonies. And Pizza Face, this is ridiculous I'm even saying this, but Pizza Face is at his car, and Sloth from the Goonies comes up and starts piecing him up, you know, doses him with a couple jabs. And Pizza Face is like, well, I'm not doing it wrong. And then pulls out this Laser Quest gun. And then old Sloth from the Goonies starts screaming, fucking shoot me, you can't. And Pizza Face just pulls this plastic gun out. He says it's not a real gun, so he pulls a gun out and says it's not a real gun, so why'd he pull it out? But yeah, so Motorsports is dosing him up, and then the camera starts shaking, and then it's the end of the video. And apparently the guy with the plastic gun who got pieced up got 5 years in prison. How the fuck? How did he get 5 years? If anyone knows, let me know in the comments. But I don't understand it. How did he get 5 years? He's the one that got boxed up. And what happened to Sloth? Is he still out there? Yeah, you guy. It's like a Viz magazine, isn't it? But yeah, that's what's been happening with the whole Motorsports versus Pizza Face. I've noticed the most boring man on YouTube as well, old JDP. He's been having a bit of back and forth with Cock in a Frock. What's her name? Anne Dogbone, Anne Drogbone. And I don't know what they're arguing about. I just keep seeing it popping up, and Anne's put it on his toes and says, oh, well, because I think he was calling her a wrong and for posting bally pictures or something, I don't know. And she says, well, if I'm a wrong, and then let's both put our acros up, because apparently the acros are back in fashion. I thought they died with Decca. And by the way, with these acros, it's all bullshit anyway. Can you remember when everyone was following Decca around, telling him to get his acro out, but he couldn't because he's a wrong un. And he just didn't put it up, and then he put a fake one up. And then Danny Christie chimed in and took the moral high ground. Oh, I'll show my acro. Put his up, but then blanked half of it out. It's like, well, that defeats the object. What's point in that? You're not really showing your acro, eh? If you crossing all the bits out what you don't want people to see. But yeah, she's asked JDP to put his acro up, and he said no, which is a red flag. I mean, it reminds me, JDP is the most uninteresting person on YouTube. I don't know how he's got 1,000 subscribers. He don't do it. All he does is call people wrong-uns. And you remember when you was at school, and there was that one guy who was calling everybody gay, and then when he left school, he was gay. It's the same kind of thing here. All he does is call people wrong-uns. And Anne's put it on him to show his acro. I don't know what's going to happen with that. But I know if someone wanted to see my acro, I'd say, yeah, no problem. You know, it's all shoplifting, commercial burglaries, stealing laptops, that sort of thing from office buildings. You know, I'm not there's no I can do. You know, I'm embarrassed by it, I'm ashamed by it. But I've spent half my life in prison, you know, so I've paid my debt to society. But that's the thing with Brian as well. He's only ever done like 6 months in prison. If he's out there killing people and burying bodies and breaking a million jaws and bloody picking shops off the floor and bench pressing them and kicking doors off riot vans, why has he only ever done 6 months in prison? But yeah, that's what's been happening on YouTube. Not really that much, really. It's just that the highlight was Pizza Face getting dosed up by Sloth from Goonies. That was probably the best. Oh, there's the bloated sheriff as well. He's been having a bit of back and forth with Rackpull and Narrative Destroyer. I don't mind Rackpull. He's probably the only one on here where I'll watch his video. They're all a bit samey, but you know, I'll watch one of his videos, and he's the only one that actually draws a couple laughs from me. But you know, the thing is though, is like if you're gonna have a back and forth with someone, oh yeah, just while I remember that a kid from Donny, I think he was from Donny, called Andy Bailey. So you know, I don't want to josh on him too hard, because you know, my mentality is prison mentality. If you stick with your own, you know, if somebody messes with one lad from Donny, then you mess with all of them. So I don't really want to josh him too hard, but I saw him in the comments of Narrative and all these other people, JDP, and he was like begging for a back and forth. And this is going on for weeks. You know, you've not given me much to go on for a back and forth. And then when he actually got a back and forth with Narrative Destroyer, there was about 5 different channels that like made videos about this Andy Bailey, and he got loads of heat. And what was his comeback? What was his amazing first time impression? Brilliant comeback was, "You're a smackhead." I was like, oh God, well that's disappointing. That's the most unintelligent, lame video you could make, calling someone a smackhead. I mean, what are you going to do next? Tell him to suck your mum? I was very disappointed. But yeah, I'm not going to give him too much stick, because I think he's from Donny. But he's been after a back and forth, and then the first day he has a back and forth, about 5 different channels went on him, and he's just apologised and done one. not seen him since. But I think it was the bloated sheriff what brought him in, so you can blame Sheriff for that one. And I've not been watching him. I find him insufferable. You know, it looks like he's gained weight every day since age 8. it's just getting fatter by the day. And the thing that I don't agree with is Rackpool. I watched Rackpool last video, or one of his last videos, where he was talking about Sheriff, saying he's been hanging around with minors. And look, if you're gonna have a back and forth with someone, use what's out there. You don't make things up like stuff like that, you know, minors, and because that's it puts me off when people are caught like insinuating, like one of JDP's followers said about Anne, calling her a wrong 'un because she was posting pictures of ballet. I mean, she used to do ballet, so she finds it interesting. So only like a wrong 'un would find something wrong with that. And there's plenty of stuff to go out there to go on, you know. There's plenty of idiots on YouTube, so I don't think you have to make up calling people wrong 'uns. So, you know, hanging around with minors. See, when I was growing up, if you knew a wrong 'un, if someone got called a wrong 'un, you knew they were, because you didn't use that word unless they definitely were, because you can ruin lives with it, you know. You can't just go around calling people wrong 'uns. That's the worst thing that you could be ever. So you don't call people wrong 'uns unless you're absolutely sure. But now it seems like everybody's a wrong 'un, everybody's a grass, everybody's a bacon. And they just throw these accusations around like it's nothing, so it becomes nothing. So now you call someone a wrong and it don't mean no, you know. So they're just watering it down to the point where it means nothing anymore. It's like every single day, you're a wrong and you're a bacon. But anyway, that's the roundup. Yeah, I think I'm going to do this every Sunday. And if you have mentioned me in the past, I know there's Guns and Explosives, he's mentioned me, that loads of different people. I've not seen it, so you know it's too late to do a reply now. But yeah, if you've mentioned me, I'm not ignoring you. I've just not seen it, but now I know where that button is. I'll check it more often. But anyway, that's the video. If you like this video, press the thumbs up, subscribe to the channel. Fromage frais.